children. And Melissa's going to tell you guys a little bit more about that in a little bit and show you a slideshow of some of our local girls. But as the director of Young Life, I kind of wanted to come up here and tell you about my story, because I'm no stranger to being a teen mom. At the age of 17, I found myself pregnant with little to no support from my family and even a mom who tried to get a court order to make me have an abortion. My boyfriend, who is now my husband, and I both were not raised in a Christian home, and we didn't have the support of our family to help us with our children. We struggled a lot along the way, still trying to hold on to our teenage years, but having a baby will really make you grow up quick. I experienced all the normal things that a mom experiences, such as why is my baby crying, am I doing this right, what will become of my child. But then there are other things that only a teen mom can go through, like having your friends abandon you because it's no longer cool to hang out with your friend and her screaming, tooting baby, or realizing that the friends that you're hanging out with aren't people you even want around your baby. And then there are the looks that follow you around, like you are just some stupid kid who makes bad decisions, that you don't even deserve that baby that you hold. The looks that follow you all the way into adulthood. And then there are things people take for granted, like, will I be able to feed my baby today or tomorrow? Will I have enough diapers? Will I be stuck like this forever? We can't even see through to tomorrow. But after many trials and hard work, we were able to make it through. And my son, who now just turned 16, and me and my husband have been married for 13 years and are raising our 3 kids in a Christian home. But 7 years ago, God found me broken, and He started to do a work in my life. He showed me a grace that was so strong that He could overcome the fears, even those of a teen mom. He then started to make changes in my life. Some I welcomed, like this boy who I hardly knew, and took him and made him my soulmate and a wonderful Christian man, or others that I fought with everything I had, causing great heartache in my life. But God had a plan. He just wasn't letting me into the whole thing. He started giving it to me in pieces. And He said, go to seminary school and get a degree as a Christian counselor. So I did, and I just completed that. Then I felt like He was telling me to go to a secular school because the world, they want to see the degree. So I did, and I was about a year away from the social science degree. Still wasn't sure what the plan was. I thought maybe it was a guidance counselor at school, maybe it was a social worker, but I think He had something planned for me that was right in the middle. And then I found Young Life, and things started to move. Very soon after joining Young Life as a mentor and on committee, the current director let on that she thought that she was meant to start Young Life and then step out. So I immediately began to pray, please God, I would love to do this. And the current director then revealed to me at the next meeting, which I was early to, even though I'm never early, that she really felt like God wanted me to take over Young Life. And she wasn't sure I was going to take that. And basically, I was jumping for joy, and from that moment on, things with Young Life just started to fly by. God made it very evident that this ministry was very important to Him. He started opening doors that we didn't even know existed. So through all of my pains and all of my trials, He has a perfect will that now I am privileged to see a piece of, and He had a greater plan for me than I could have even ever imagined for myself. God has been preparing my life for work in Young Life, and all of these moments using my 4 coaches to lead up to His perfect will, just as I believe He has a plan for all of these girls that we work with in Young Life. And it seems now that every day we see God moving in the Young Life so quickly that we have to hold on or we're going to fall off. So maybe your story is similar to mine, or maybe yours is very different. But I believe God has great plans for you in the lives of Young Lives, whether it's giving an hour a month or serving as a mentor for a team or a monthly dinner, because if you like to see God move, you're going to want to be involved with Young Lives. Now we're just going to kind of tell you more about what we do.
Good morning. Getting pregnant at 16 saved me. That's not always a popular statement, but it's true. Jesus found me through that situation, and I'm here today to share part of my story and to introduce you to an exciting ministry in the Eastern Panhandle, a ministry that focuses on sharing the love of Christ with teen moms and their children so they can be saved too. First, I want to share a little bit about Young Life's history and vision. Young Life is a division of Young Life, which is an organization that has been serving children since 1941. We exist to specifically serve pregnant and parenting teen girls. As part of Young Life's vision to reach every child, our desire is to reach every type of teenager, and so we're striving with God's help to effectively reach young girls and their babies. Why do you need a separate ministry for teen moms? Teen moms have very different needs than can be met in a traditional youth group. I know that I wouldn't have felt comfortable after I became pregnant going to a traditional youth group. Let me give you an example. Jessica, one of our girls, pregnant at 16, dad in jail, mom lost custody of her and her siblings. Yet she still manages good grades, but over the summer she endured the nightmare of having her child's father disappear with him for 5 days to punish her because she would not continue in an abusive relationship with him. Or Nicole. She had a baby girl at the beginning of her senior year and had suffered so much abuse and neglect in her life that she had resorted to cutting herself until her baby gave her something to live for. James 1:27 says, "Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress." We choose to love those who are sometimes hard to love. I was hard to love. At 16, I was already, much like Nicole, in a very self-destructive place. Life had taught me that I had no one to rely on but myself. Childhood abuse, rejection, and hurt had built a callous wall around my heart. Promiscuity, drug use, and a general loathing of self had replaced the little girl who had once dreamed of becoming a music therapist. The God I had known as a child had let bad things happen to me and would never look past the sins that I had committed. I was a statistic. Let's take a minute to look at the statistics. The United States has the highest teen pregnancy rate in the entire Western industrialized world. There's no excuse for that. Local statistics, there are over 176 babies born every year in this county alone to moms between the ages of 10 and 19. So what is a teen mom? Teen mom is between the ages of 10 and 19. Most of them are unmarried. Most of them come from low-income families. Socioeconomic status does play a significant role in this problem. 1/3 of them receive inadequate prenatal care. They're less likely to complete high school, and they're more likely to end up on welfare. We have 2 8th graders in our program this year. We place a high emphasis at Young Lives on education because we are all paying for this societal problem. When I learned I was pregnant, I spent several days pretending I didn't know what was happening, and then panic struck. Pregnant? How can I take care of a baby? All I had was a room in an apartment and a job in a drive-through window. A few weeks later, I sat in a sterile clinic surrounded by literature about birth control, reproductive choices, and my options. Thankfully, I couldn't finish filling out the forms. I didn't realize it, but God was at work even in my life then. I made the decision to have my baby, and God brought people into my life, including my future husband, who did know what they were doing, and helped this by then 17-year-old child become a mama. But it was not easy. As you can see from this slide, children of teenage moms face challenges right away. Jared, my son, was born 5 weeks premature, in part because I smoked through my pregnancy and didn't have adequate prenatal care. He spent almost 2 weeks in the NICU before he came home, and he was so small that I was afraid to hold him. Children of teen moms can face all the challenges you see on the slide and move throughout their lives, and more throughout their lives, particularly if they receive little intervention and inadequate support. So what does Young Lives do for teen moms? Well, we have clubs. We also have mentors, and an example of a mentor would be one of the girls that I mentored, Jill and I. She had no support from family at all when she went into labor, and she had an extremely difficult labor. 51 hours, 6 hours of pushing, and ended up with an emergency C-section, which I, through the grace of God, was able to sit through with it. That's not my thing. But that's the kind of relationship that mentors develop with the girls in our program. We are there for them through everything. We also have a referral network. Jill and I go into all the local high schools once a month to do life skills training with their pregnant and parenting teenagers. And we work with other organizations, in particular the school system. Let me digress for a moment. I was in a dark hole of postpartum depression. You see, I became a statistic again, as over 25% of teen moms do, when 6 months after Jared was born, I found myself pregnant again. 18 years old with a newborn and a 16-month-old, I was convinced that I had ruined my life and would never be able to adequately parent my baby, let alone follow any dream. And then I got the mail. Yes, something as simple as a postcard in the mail made my day and introduced me to Jesus. Are you a young mom? Need a time out? Come to XYZ Church on Tuesday. Free childcare provided. They had me at free childcare. The following Tuesday, I tentatively walked into a church with a baby on my hip and a baby in a car seat, screaming as only his colicky little self could. A wonderful Christian woman took those boys from me and pointed me toward a room with a few other moms and ladies, and I enjoyed the first quiet and peaceful 2 hours that I could remember. Young Lives Club seeks to meet needs in a way very similar to the group I attended. Club is all girls. We meet for an hour to a month. We provide them with transportation to club, child care at club, and we provide them with a meal. We also provide them with life skills training and a fun activity. Last month, Legal Aid came to our club to talk to the girls about custody and child support and all those, unfortunately, domestic violence issues that a lot of these girls face. There was no judgment, no questions about my situation, only love. After 6 months of attending that Teen Mom Support Group, not only did I have my GED and was enrolled in the local college, I had found Jesus with clothes on. I was baptized that year, and my husband the following year. We have that same type of one-on-one mentoring for young lives. Our mentors become a big sister figure in the girls' lives. That person they can call if they have an argument with their boyfriend or a question about their baby's development. Over the past few months, our mentors have helped girls interview child care providers, fill out job applications, deal with family situations, help with potty training, you name it, the mentor is there. And some of our girls are in yucky situations, and there's no other word for it, whether it be an abusive relationship or a dysfunctional family. Remember Jessica and Nicole, whose stories I mentioned earlier? Both were displaced from their family situations this year, and Young Lives was able to step in and assist them in navigating the family court system, finding alternative housing, and providing emotional support through very trying and difficult times. I shudder to think where those two and their babies would be if God had not placed them in our path. And we can't forget that these girls are just that. They're girls, kids. So fun is a major component of our program. Who doesn't like summer camp? Young Lives provides the opportunity for teen moms and their babies to have that experience. In August, we took 8 girls and their children to New York State for what Mrs. Nicole described as the most awesome week of her life. Jessica accepted Christ at camp this year. We earn the right to be heard through these relationships, and then we expand on the opportunity by providing things like the club and camp experience. Which brings us to why we're here. We need you. You can play a part in saving a young mom like me. We accept monthly financial partners, one-time tax-deductible donations. We need diapers, and more diapers, new and gently used baby and maternity clothes and equipment, partnering with local businesses to spread the word about our ministry, committee members, and mentors. I'm living proof that we serve a Romans 8:28 God. You know, the one who works all things together for good. Becoming pregnant at 16 saved me from continuing to hurt myself, from perpetuating cycles of generational sin, from believing that I was too far gone to be saved by grace. I will always be grateful to those women who look past the tough exterior of a girl with big chips on her shoulders to the God-given potential that lay dormant. Through the mission and work of Young Lives, you too can be a part of reaching teenage girls who need unconditional love, compassion, guidance, and the hope of Jesus Christ. I'm no longer a statistic. I'm God's success story for His glory, and I know these girls can be too.